All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to decode a single image to really understand the backbone of the German economy. Now, it might just look like a map, but trust me, it's basically a blueprint for economic power. So let's dive in.
Okay, so here it is. At first glance, you just see a map of Germany, kind of plastered with a bunch of logos you probably recognize. It seems like a pretty random collection of huge companies, right? But this isn't just a map. Think of it like a puzzle, and it holds the key to how the entire German economy is wired.
So, here's the big question we're tackling. What can this one image really tell us about one of the most powerful economies on the planet? How do we read this not just as a list of companies, but as a story of Germany's economic strength? Let's start breaking it down.
Our investigation starts with our first major clue, and it's all about location, or maybe more importantly, where the power isn't.
You know, in most countries, you'd expect the biggest companies to be clustered right around the capital city. That just makes sense, right? Well, as you're about to see, Germany plays by a completely different set of rules.
Let's start by zooming in on the east. See Berlin right there? The political capital. But look closely. Where are all the corporate titans?
I mean, yeah, you might spot the railway company, but compared to the rest of the country, this area is surprisingly quiet.
Okay, now let's just slide our eyes over to the west. And whoa, it's a completely different story. This region is just packed, jam-packed with giants like Bayer, Henkel, Aldi, the energy company RWE. They're all practically on top of each other. The economic center of gravity is clearly not in the political capital.
And this brings us to a really crucial idea: decentralization. See, unlike a lot of other major economies, Germany's power is spread out all over the place. It doesn't have one single megacity that drives everything. Instead, it has this whole network of powerful regional hubs. That's the first big piece of our puzzle.
So, if the power is spread out, how is it organized? Is it just random? Well, that brings us to our second clue.
So this isn't just a random scattering of companies. The way it's decentralized is actually highly organized. Germany basically has these specialized mini-capitals where specific industries have put down super deep roots.
Let's kick things off with the most famous example: cars. Look down south to states like Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg. This area is the undisputed car capital of the world. You've got BMW in Munich, you have Daimler and Porsche near Stuttgart, and then Audi and Volkswagen a little further north. The whole gang is there, and together, they form this cluster that just dominates the globe.
Now, let's follow the Rhine River. Along this waterway, you'll find a totally different kind of cluster: the chemical and pharmaceutical giants. BASF, the largest chemical producer in the world, is here. So are Bayer, Merck, and Henkel. They create this kind of chemical corridor that's a global powerhouse all on its own.
And it doesn't stop there, not by a long shot. We also see these retail and consumer powerhouses. You've got the rival supermarket empires, Aldi and Lidl. You have the engineering giant Bosch. And get this, you even have the famous shoemaking brothers who founded Adidas and Puma. Their headquarters are still in the exact same small town.
Okay, let's zoom back out for a second. We found our two big clues, right? Decentralization and these industry clusters. Now it's time to put all the pieces together and see the full picture.
This slide really just sums it all up perfectly. The common perception is that economic power follows political power. It all flows to the capital. But the German reality? It's all about decentralized strength. The common idea is that big companies are just scattered all over. The reality? Nope. They group together in these highly specialized, incredibly powerful hubs.
So, let's look at our map one last time. It probably doesn't look like a chaotic jumble anymore, does it? You can actually see the pattern now. You see the car heartland in the south, the chemical corridor in the west, and that relative quiet out in the east. The puzzle is solved. This isn't just a map of logos, it's a story about a very unique economic structure.
And here's why all of this really matters. This structure is a huge source of Germany's famous economic resilience. Think about it. If one region or one industry has a bad year, the entire country isn't brought to its knees. There are other powerful hubs ready to keep the momentum going. This geographic foundation is kind of like its secret weapon.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. This map, it only shows the largest companies, the household names. But Germany is also famous for what's called the Mittelstand. Thousands of smaller, often family-owned companies that are absolute world leaders in their niche. People call them hidden champions. So if this is the map of the giants, just imagine what a map of those thousands of hidden champions would look like. What other stories would that map have to tell?